That's okay. I don't speak Dutch, sorry. So I was asked to tell an authentic story about what we do and what motivates us and drives us. So I'm going to share a bit more of the story and then eventually get to the point of the actual project that I'm here for. Does anyone know what this picture is? This is the cosmic microwave background. It shows the temperature gradients at the initial state of our universe right after the Big Bang. According to current human scientific knowledge, the universe came into existence for unknown reasons 13.8 billion years ago in a dramatic explosion of energy and matter. Starting with the primordial soup of light and subatomic particles at temperatures beyond comprehension, things gradually started to take shape as conditions cooled down, particles collided, and the simplest element called hydrogen, a marriage of one proton, one neutron, and one electron, filled the universe. Eventually, non-uniformly distributed clumps of hydrogen gas led to pockets of increased gravitational pull. These pockets began to attract even more gas, starting a snowball effect that led to extremely dense, hot concentrations of matter. And just like that, the first stars were formed. These stars, some smaller and some larger, forged new exciting elements in their hot, dense cores. After a fruitful life, these stars then collapsed into violent explosions called supernovae, sending even newer, more exciting elements careening outwards through space, turning the universe into a fertile celestial soil. Out of this soil sprouted a lush garden of interstellar bodies, planets, solar systems, and galaxies, all composed of the same stardust, and all arising from the same universal forces, from the quantum to the cosmic scale. About 9 billion years into this wonderful story, one particular planet was born in what scientists call the Goldilocks zone, at a favorable distance from its young star in a distant region of the Milky Way galaxy. Frozen water was delivered to this planet's surface by rainfalls of meteors, and that water combined with carbon, nitrogen, and other organic compounds to form an eccentric expression of energy and matter called life. A confluence of perfect factors allowed life to persist on this planet, taking the next 3.8 billion years to multiply, evolve, and flourish against all odds to encompass every corner of the globe, from the bottom of vast oceans to the top of mountain ranges, and every nook, cranny, and niche in between. This exceptional planet is called Earth, its star is called the Sun, and my name is Joshua Bennett Jacobs, one of the lucky life forms of Earth and member of the species Homo sapiens, living in the 21st century AD, about 4.5 billion years after the Earth's formation. For much of the time of our species, we understood the importance of this story. In Mayan tradition, there's a greeting that many people working with Mayan wisdom know of. It is the law of In Lakesh Alakim. We have come to understand that this Mayan greeting is an honoring for each other. It is a statement of unity and oneness. In modern English, it can be translated to the statement, I am you and you are me. Moreover, this greeting has become more than a simple statement. It has evolved into a moral code and a way to create a positive reality for all of life. When we live the Mayan code of In Lakesh Alakim, we know that every action we take is out of respect for all life, and we are living and giving from our hearts. We can give our hearts in a positive manner every day by saying In Lakesh Alakim to each other, to the morning sun and the moon, to the trees and rocks and things, to the skies and birds, to the animals and fishes, to the stars, to our Mother Earth, and most importantly, to each other, the people of the world. Needless to say, this is not the world we currently live in. Today, we live in a world run by what David Foster Wallace calls the default setting. The implicit belief that each of us are alone, an individual at the center of our own universe, separate from the world around us. This default setting opens the door to fear and greed, denial, narcissism, misogyny, distrust, and dishonesty. These are the forces that we're seeing dominate on the world stage, and these are the forces that continue to shape our environment, the development of our technology, our society, and now our algorithms and AI. I want to be clear that this is not meant to be a story of despair and loss. This is a story of reparations, of triumph, and of opportunity. An opportunity to make a new world that fulfills the promise of humanity. Our generation has one of the most incredible opportunities in the history of our species to build a new world. Common sense tells us that we are just 1 in 8 billion, that our actions are insignificant in the grand scheme of things, that at the end of the day, what I do doesn't matter. Thankfully, common sense is often wrong. Common sense used to tell us that the world was flat. The universe, on the other hand, tells us that it is precisely the little things, all together, that make big things work. It's the nematode that allows the cycle of life to go around. It's the neutrino, one of the smallest particles in the universe, that triggers one of the largest forces of explosions in the entire universe, the supernova, which forms all the elements that we know of and the structures of the solar system that we currently live in. Remember what the Mayans told us. In Lakesh Alakim, I am you and you are me. Network science tells us the same story. We are much more interconnected than you might think. In fact, each person is only 6 steps removed from any other human on this planet. Game theory tells us that on the short term, the environment makes the players, but on the long term, the players make the environment. We all have the power to change the world that we live in, through the relationships that we have with the people we know, the work we do, and the things we create. So that brings us to only one conclusion. Let's get to work. So this is a very important motto for the work that we do at YFFM and for me in my life. It's this idea of think big, start small, and act now. So slides that we just came from, this is telling the story of me, how I have thought about the world and placed all the problems that I see around me in the context of the bigger picture. And the next step after thinking big is to start small and thinking about how these big problems manifest in the little nooks and crannies of our lives in the world that we live in. So as a person, you have to start thinking about what calls you, what motivates you, what do you wish you could change. You have to be curious and critical and allow yourself to be bored so that you can explore these problems and think about how they manifest in your life. And then once you find something tangible, something real, you start acting on it. You talk about it with everyone that you know. You start making a ruckus. And once you really start to project this energy outwards, you'll be surprised how quickly you start finding success. So just to tell you the story of how that has manifested for the work that we're doing on the Science Park campus. For me, for the problems that I noticed, there was a few things. It was one, the overpriced and poor quality food that was being offered by a multinational corporation who owned all of the rights to food catering on the Utrecht Science Park campus. Meanwhile, we have an abundance of local farms sprouting up around Utrecht who could greatly benefit from the consistent demand of all the students eating on campus. It was all the organic waste that was being thrown into the landfill in all of the 3,000 student apartments on campus. Meanwhile, we have the means to be sorting and collecting and transporting this waste to gardens or green spaces right here on campus to be turned into compost. It's all of the cigarette butts that I see people mindlessly littering onto the ground all around me. It's all of the students that I see being demotivated and convinced that their actions don't matter, that they have no role to play in saving the world. Changing these things isn't necessarily easy. It takes grit and determination and willingness to push through uncertainty. However, when they come from a place of love, all of that effort, all of the blood, sweat, and tears that it takes to change doesn't feel like work at all. It feels like liberation, like true fulfillment and purpose. So now to get grounded and tangible on what we're actually doing. Like I said, we're setting up a network of student-run composting on campus, trying to inspire and motivate people to realize that they can actually play a role in mitigating emissions by making sure that the food waste they produce doesn't go into the landfill and can be transported to gardens on campus to grow food that's served on campus. We are creating educational curriculum to tell these stories in classrooms and help students understand more of the bigger picture and the ways that they can contribute. And our biggest project is this community kitchen to pit. where we are offering affordable and healthy and local food to students on campus. And this process has started in March. We were talking with the subcontractor, or the catering company earliest. We were able to get a space in their facility at the main canteen on campus. This went all the way up to the head office in London, where they had to get approval. It's still playing out, but we hope to open in January. And together we're building a movement where we can try to change these issues on a local scale. So that's my story. My name should be there, and the email again, futurefood@uu.nl. This is our Instagram, and if you have any other questions about the work, feel free to ask.